seems to be a bit of confusion about how to do the wax carving build-up method with the soldering iron. Now, I've had a few comments in the previous video that I'm not linking to the correct soldering iron product, and I am. This blue wax that I use, I mean, you're free to go and experiment with other kinds, but I think that this is the best that I've tried, and this requires 300 degrees. 300 degrees. 300 degrees. I use this product, blue ferris wax. My video is about blue wax, and the soldering iron that I link to, suggesting that that's the one that you should invest in, will melt blue wax. Now, this is where things get a bit confusing. It's why you're gonna have to experiment a bit and learn for yourself, because this appears to also be blue wax. But it is not the same blue wax as this. This blue wax is more like the injector wax, which melts at a much lower temperature. And it does have a different colour. It's sort of milkier than this one. And you can use this wax too to do the build-up. But for this wax, you're going to need a completely different soldering iron, because like my soldering iron, the lowest temperature it does is 150 degrees. And 150 degrees turns this to liquid. This tutorial, because we're going to make another one today, this video is about using this product. We're starting to make an engagement ring that is inspired by the Isle of Eve, which is, I think, an Outer Hebridean island. The textures and things of the ring are going to be inspired by this island. So what the client wanted me to focus on was the sort of low misty clouds and the craggy rocks. So the ring's going to have quite like a darkened aesthetic to it. It's going to be that beautiful, mysteriously moody sort of Scottish island. We are going to be using a garnet. Garnet has been chosen because it is her birthstone. Did you know that in ancient times, garnet was revered as a symbol of life itself? The Egyptians believed it represented the blood of Isis, and to the Greeks, garnet was a symbol of enduring love. Find interesting and unusual facts about your birthstone at anyotherkingdom.uk/field notes. Well, hello there, and welcome to the tutorial part of the video. We're going to start our little wax build-up by building the setting for the stone. Blue tack will be your best friend here. You can use blue tack to stick your stone upside down on a file, on a pencil, so that you can melt the wax onto the cullet of the stone and build your beautiful little setting. Did anyone else try chewing blue tack when they were a kid? Like chewing it like chewing gum? I have a vivid memory of the texture inside my mouth, like so gritty and like stretchy. Ugh. Just me? Okay, you're gonna find the ring size that you're creating a ring for, mark it out in your mandrel. If you really know what you're gonna make, you can draw your design onto your mandrel. I would buy a wooden one. Buy a wooden one. A wooden one doesn't weigh anything, and it doesn't hurt your hand, and it doesn't leach away the heat like the steel ones. One, I don't know how people hold them, but two, the wax just gets immediately cold and immediately hardens, and you have like no time to be fluid and just flow with your whole design. You know, this way of working is so much calmer than this video makes it seem. You're watching about 10 minutes of wax build-up, and you're getting it all in like 35 seconds. So it seems like it's a fast process, but actually it takes so long, it's so slow. You're gonna need entertainment, you're gonna need TV, podcasts, someone on the phone to talk to, because it can get a bit boring. Once you're ready to put the wax on your ring band, then you just need to get a bit more blue tack and stick your stone in place so that you have your centerpiece to work around. When you're working with gemstones, when you're making jewelry, I always think start from the center and go outwards, like work from the visual center point and build everything else around it. Make it flow, make it fluid, make it beautiful. You've just watched 10 minutes of wax build up, obviously sped up. You can see it's like this delicate balance between what I want the ring to look like, what I've drawn from a client, also what the wax will allow me to do. Because sometimes, you know, you can draw anything, and sometimes your materials just don't quite let you follow that through. And after about an hour, this is what we have, and this is what I send to my client to get the okay and see if they want to go ahead and cast. Well, it's probably a week later. I have changed my hair quite dramatically. My client has okayed this beautiful design. I initially quoted him for the lost wax casting, where I have to send it off to my supplier. I was looking at the shape this morning, and I think I'm going to try sandcast it. Oh no, not another sandcasting video. Let's just skip to the end. I'm really impressed that I managed to sandcast this design. It's really complicated. Look, it's very, very intricate, and I like it when it goes well. It's good fun when it goes well. I'm in this Facebook group for sandcasting, and the people who post their projects in there, oh my gosh, they make the most amazing things, and they're always so perfect. And I find my sandcastings always come out so wonky, but this one, for how complex it is, getting that swirl, yay!